Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Thursday, the 26th of June. As we reach the end of Deuteronomy, Moses is preparing to die and send the people into the promised land under the leadership of Joshua. And God speaks to him. And in verse 16, we're told, "The Lord said to Moses, 'You are going to rest with your ancestors, and these people will soon prostitute themselves to the foreign gods of the land they are entering. They will forsake me and break the covenant I made with them.'" And then a couple of verses later, the idea is repeated. God says, "When I have brought them into the land flowing with milk and honey, the land I promised on oath to their ancestors, and when they eat their fill and thrive, they will turn to other gods and worship them, rejecting me and breaking my covenant." And so God's giving this warning to Moses, and then Moses echoes that as he speaks to the people. In verse 27, he says, "For I know how rebellious and stiff-necked you are. If you have been rebellious against the Lord while I am still alive and with you, how much more will you rebel after I die?" And then a couple of verses later, "For I know that after my death you are sure to become utterly corrupt and to turn from the way I've commanded you." And as I read that, I thought, here are 4 instances in the one chapter where it said the Israelites will turn away from God. And that's exactly what happened as you continue reading. They did. And the amazing thing is not that they were warned they were going to do it, or that they did it, because they're human beings, and human beings do tend to sin. Our inclination is to turn away from God. Look around the world, you see that writ large. But what I found incredible was that God knew that and yet didn't abandon them. If I'm going somewhere and I think, if I drive along this road, I'm going to get a puncture, I will then find some other road to drive along if I possibly can, because I don't want to get a puncture. We will avoid the problems where we can. God saw the problems coming, and yet he maintained faith. He kept the people. He led them. He helped them. He answered them. Finally, he judged them, but always to bring them back. He sent them into exile, but then drew them back again. And it's just the amazing grace of God, that despite the fact that he knows how we're going to fail, he knows when we're going to sin, he knows how weak we are and what we're going to get wrong, as well as what we might get right. And despite the fact that us getting stuff wrong might be most of the time, God still loves us. He still calls us. He still walks with us. He still says that we are his children. That is the amazing grace. And then the second reading from Psalm 119, there's a refrain, or almost an echo, but the opposite, where the psalmist says, "Oh, how I love your law. I meditate on it all day long. Your commandments are always with me and make me wiser than my enemies. I have more insight than all my teachers, for I meditate on your statutes. I have more understanding than the elders, for I obey your precepts." And so despite the fact that the people were going to get it wrong, there were always a small number of the people who would get it right, like the psalmist, that would love the law of the Lord, that would obey God's laws, that would walk with God. There's always this remnant that hasn't turned away. And that too is encouraging. And our prayer is, God, help us to be part of that remnant, that we will walk with you, keep faith with you, and walk in your ways, knowing that that's your word to us. And as we do that, we are blessed.